Yo, what's good, y'all? Silas Kameen here, and I'm back with another video. Yo, do y'all remember when we was kids and we would play Grand Theft Auto? Well, I mean, some of y'all still playing today, which that's a whole nother conversation. But do y'all remember we would play the game and we would, put in that money cheat code that would give us infinite money and infinite wealth? Did you know that you can do that in real life through real estate? I'm gonna show y'all how today.
I guess I got my swagger back.
So in order to show y'all how this cheat code actually works, I'm gonna use a real life example on a property that I bought last year. So I bought this property last year for $76,000. So we'll say purchase price. In order to get this property fixed up, I put about $35,000 into the rehab. And when fixed up, this property would be worth around $165,000. So we call that the ARV. And ARV is your after repair value. So that is what your property is worth once it's all fixed up. So this was obviously a distressed property, a property that needed a lot of work to be able to purchase it for $76,000. But I already know what y'all are going to say in the comments, especially on TikTok, where y'all go crazy. Oh, but there's no properties for $76,000 where I live. Oh, this will only work in Texas. Look, it doesn't matter. The strategy will work anywhere. Yes, it is easier in places where properties are priced lower, but the strategy works regardless whether you're buying a $76,000 property or you're buying a $276,000 property or you're buying a $676,000 property. This strategy still works. The key is buying the property distressed. As long as you're buying it distressed, meaning it is below market value, which this obviously is. I'm purchasing for 76 and it's worth 165. Once it's fixed up, I'm purchasing it below market value. So the strategy will work. The strategy will work. So I don't want to hear that. So in order to finance this deal, I did it through a hard money lender. And hard money lender is a company that lends strictly based on the quality of a deal. They are asset-based lenders, meaning they will lend to you if you have a good deal. If you have a good deal, not if you have 800 credit, not if you have 100,000 in the bank, not if you have, gold pants. If you have a good deal, they will lend to you. That is the criteria for hard money lending. Use hard money when starting off. You can't use traditional banks because traditional banks will not finance this deal most of the time if the property is not habitable. So when I went to this hard money lender, I told the hard money lender, I said, hey, Mr. Hard Money Lender, I have a fantastic deal for you. All you need to do is lend me the money to purchase it and fix it up. Hard money lender says, slow your roll. That's not how it works. We lend to you two different ways. Either we're going to lend to you based off the value of the asset, meaning loan to value, or we're going to lend to you based off of the cost of the project, meaning loan to cost. So this particular hard money lender was lending based off of the value. What does that mean? That means they would lend to me 70% of the value of this property once it's fixed up, meaning 70% of $165,000, which, if my math is not mistaken, 70% of $165,000 is going to be 116,000 buckaroos. So the hard money lender says, yes, we'll give you $116,000 so you can go purchase the property for 76 and put $35,000 into the renovation. So now I take that money and I buy the property while I use the rest of the money to fix up the property to get it into a habitable condition. Now, once this property is fixed up now, I have a couple options. I can either choose to sell it and flip it, or you can keep the property and rent it out. So in this particular case, let's say I'm going to keep this property and rent it out. So I will now rent this property out, which in my market, this property will rent for about $1,500. I'm going to now rent this property out for $1,500. Now, once this property is rented out, I can now go take this property that is now fully stabilized, rent it out, totally habitable with tenants living in it. I can go now to a traditional lender, meaning a bank or credit union. I can tell them, hey, Mr. Bank, I have this property here. It's a beautiful property. I fixed it up. I put $35,000 into the renovation, and I think this property is worth $165,000. And do you know what the bank will say? They'll say, you know what? we're gonna see. So the bank is going to run their own appraisal on this property, and they're going to determine if this property is actually going to be worth that $165,000. But let's say that this bank says, yes, this property is in fact worth $165,000 after they do their appraisal on the property. And so after they do that, I'll say, okay, great. I would love to get a mortgage on this property, because remember, the hard money lender still owns this property technically, right? Because they lent me the money for the purchase and the rehab. So I still owe the hard money lender, but I need to pay them off because that was short-term financing. That money is only good for 6 to 12 months before it becomes due. So now I tell the bank, hey, I would love to get a mortgage. They will say, cool, you know, we can give you 75% of the value of the property. So 75% of a $165,000 property is going to be about $124,000. So now I get a mortgage on this property for $124,000 from this new bank. And so now with that $124,000 that they just gave me, because remember, let's think about this intuitively, right? Let's really think about this, because I think a lot of people miss this part of the whole thing. So I want you to rewind if you have to, but really let's understand this. Remember, the hard money lender still owns the property until I pay them off. But in order to pay them off, I need to get the money. So I'm going to the bank. They will now give me the money. And in return for giving me the money, they put a mortgage on this property, meaning I owe them this amount of money and it is backed by this property. That is what a mortgage is. And so they'll give me the value, the 75% of the $165,000, which is the $124,000. I will now go pay off my hard money lender their $116,000 that they initially lent me to purchase and fix up this property. So now after I pay them off, 124 minus 116, what does that mean? I'm left with $8,000 in my pocket that I can now use towards closing costs or whatever case may be. So essentially, here's what I just did. I just now, number one, purchased this property with none of my own money, right? I rehabbed this property with none of my own money, right? And now I have now refinanced this property with a long-term bank and didn't even have to come out of pocket with any of my own money for that either. And so now essentially I own this property that is worth $165,000, but has debt for $124,000, which means a mortgage, right? So what does that mean? That means that I have $49,000 in equity in this property, right? Meaning I increased my net worth by $49,000 with none of my own money. That is the cheat code. That is GTA in real life. You thought I was finished? No. Now I can now go back to that hard money lender and I can tell him, Mr. Hard Money Lender, I have another deal for you that I would love for you to lend on. And the hard money lender will say, oh, sure, we'll gladly lend on it. And I can do it over and over and over and over and over again until I get tired of getting wealthy, which I don't know if that's something you can get tired of. And see, this is what you call an infinite NWROI, meaning infinite net worth return on investment. Why? Because infamous ROI equation, which we so famously know as benefit over cost, meaning the profit that you make off of an investment divided by the total cost of the investment, right? So in this particular situation, we just now made $49,000 of equity, right? We increased our net worth by $49,000. So that's what's on top, benefit over the cost, which we just said was $0. So what does that mean? ROI, 49K divided by 0 is infinity. And those look like titties, but that's supposed to be an infinity symbol. So that's what that is what it means. That is the power of real estate investing. That is how you increase your net worth over and over and over and over again using none of your own money. Do you see what we just did? And better yet, I now own a cash flowing rental property that I purchased with none of my own money. And I can continue to do this over and 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 over again. Because now this property is making me probably around $300 a month. So now I created $300 a month out of thin air as well. I created an extra $3,600 out of thin air. And guess what? It gets better. Because now this property is going to continue to increase in value. This $165,000 is going to increase 3 to 5% every single year, meaning I'm going to get richer and richer every single year, right? Oh, did I fail to mention that this property's mortgage is also getting paid down by the tenants that are paying you $1,500 a month in rent? So you're telling me now my net worth is increasing that way as well? So now I'm getting richer through the property appreciating. I'm getting richer as the tenants pay me rent every single month to pay the mortgage, meaning I don't have to come out of my own pocket. They are paying the mortgage down. That's increasing my net worth, because we know that net worth is asset value minus debts. Assets worth 165, debt 125, and it continues to decrease as the tenants are paying that down. But guess what? That's not it. Because that $300 a month that I'm now making in cash flow, that extra $3,600 a year that I am now making in cash flow, I more than likely will not have to pay any income tax on that money because of depreciation, which is a whole nother thing, but it is a thing that you can take advantage of when you own rental properties. Look, this is the real cheat code, not GTA cheat codes. This is the real cheat code. So if you're not doing this, you're doing something else that doesn't matter. You're putting in the wrong cheat code. You stop putting in GTA Infinite Wealth cheat codes and start using real estate wealth cheat codes. That is the real play. This is one of the best kept secrets on real estate. But we're not making it a secret anymore. We're putting this information out there because people need to know that this is a thing. Because it is. So, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that like button. Share this with a couple people because more people need to get this message. But other than that, I will. Damn it. But other than that, I will see y'all in the next one.